Alright guys, a follow up on this new style of Waterfall Reservoir. Without the water in it, you can get a good look at it. Construction method and whatnot. You can see how it fits. This is a Cooler Master Cosmos case, which has a pretty tight optical bay. If it'll fit a Cosmos, it'll pretty much fit any case. And as you can see, got the whole layout on one side, but you're blind on the other side. It's the only downside of me using this case, which is just the way it goes. I wanted to show you how this looks next to, let's say, an optical drive, which will be a very common setup, right? But you notice that it's the same. There's a lot of reservoirs you buy, they won't be the same as a optical drive or a fan controller. Even fan controllers, a little bit wider, a little bit skinnier. So this is just matching a very common, standard optical drive. And you can see the whole layout again. So this is where that goes. And just my own little quirk here. When I install reservoirs in my own systems and whatnot, I like to put an optical drive above it, because rather than disturb my whole loop and make the loop extra slacky and, you know, so I can pull the reservoir out, which is problematic anyway, right? Just make it so that you can pull stuff out above it and get at this, and you can use a fitting and a tube and a funnel if you have to top it off or whatever, or even just a syringe if it's just air bubbles and you just want to get some fluid in there. Whatever, dye, whatever. So, just to show you that everything fits and all that, and how it looks and whatnot. So you can see this one has a beveled face, so it sticks out. You don't have to. It can also just have a 1/4 inch flat face that's very similar to this, so it just lines up perfectly with that and just looks like a window. But for this one, just because I had the heavy 3/8 material laying around in surplus, I just went for it. Things I learned about this particular thing by watching it, that I'm going to change a little bit, is the depth of the grooves is really important. You do not want to be trapping air, and the water is only going to go in a certain amount. It's only going to form like a C shape, like a cup. So if you don't have a square groove, the water doesn't make that nice cup. So if you have a deep rectangular groove, what you do is you end up actually entraining air into the fluid, which is the exact opposite of what this design should do. Because this is a prototype, I used my sliding compound miter saw, and I set the depth of it, and I just went whack, 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 whack. As you can see, it's irregular. I just kind of blasted it out to see how it would work. And then I just used my bandsaw along the top. When I make these for clients, I will be running everything through a table saw, and it will all be set precisely, so every groove will be exact all the way across. And then I'll run them through the top so that the depths will all be exact. So I'll run it through the table saw through the top edge, down the face, and I'll make a big piece of stock at one time so that I can, you know, have it very uniform. So this one would look just like this one, and if you had a 5 bay, you could have 3 of these. You could have 3 identical falls that go down, and what that'll do is that'll stop the little, and you look at my videos, you'll see it looks like a little, almost like a little graphics, LED graphics thing for your equalizer. That's air getting pulled down and bouncing up, and pulled down and bouncing up, and if the groove isn't quite as deep, there won't be any air coming down like that. It'll just be water. So a few little changes. The material I made this out of was all scrap. This is all 3/8. It's not ideal for it. The grooves on this are so tight that I can just barely get it into the Cooler Master case, and the reason for that is these fins that many cases have. I just didn't want to cut any deeper than that. You can see how much it comes into the material. So the side should be 1/2 inch, so the grooves can be 1/4 inch, like I do on my other reservoirs, instead of using scrap. The face should probably be 1/4 inch, back should be 1/4 inch. But I think the top needs to be 1/2 inch, because even though this works, and I can get, you know, the clearance I need, I've only got 1/8 of an inch of threading, which isn't ideal. So with a 1/2 inch top, like on some of my other reservoirs recessed like this, then I get a 1/4 inch of thread, which is optimal. And then to keep the look the same, if I have a 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, obviously, whether I need it or not, I'm going to have a 1/2 inch bottom. 1/4 inch face, 1/4 inch back. So those are some of the changes from this all 3/8 unit. So even though this kind of represented the idea, it was a prototype, it has nothing to do with what I'm actually going to be building for clients. Speaking of building for clients, material has arrived for a rather interesting project. Corsair 600T all acrylic side panel with fan holes, and above the fan holes a big version of this, and then it's really shallow. It's got to be even skinnier than this. I'm only going to have room for one wall, but one great big wall like this look awesome. And also a painted border. Talk about a lot of stuff on one panel, huh? It's going to be a work of art. So stay tuned for this waterfall on one of my Corsair 600T side panels. Yes, it's going to be awesome.